Do you know
my
what?
God.
Honestly, this has been
The greatest week ever.
The greatest week. It's just I can't believe it. I think
The greatest week ever.
the greatest week ever. Hello and welcome everybody. God, there's like a few people on here. How exciting!
Oh my god.
So I might need to move the microphone back because I'm gonna have a few choice words.
And you're gonna be yelling a lot.
I'm gonna have a few choice words to a few choice people.
Yes.
And by people I mean giant fucking corporations.
Yes.
Welcome everybody to State of the Beanstalk. We started at 5:30, which was actually what we were going to do originally. Do you remember the last stream? We were saying we should do 5:30?
yeah.
And
that's
then,
right.
And then I said, no, we'll do 5. We'll start at 5.
So what happens when you want to start early? Everything
Yeah.
goes out the window.
Everything goes out there. Hello Patrick, hello Nathaniel, Pog, welcome Hammy, hello.
Hey guys.
Guys, good to see you. Thank you very much for sticking around. Really appreciate it. We've had some technical difficulties that we're going to go through right now. We're going to outline why Microsoft sucks. And it has nothing to do with it.
I was gonna say this has got nothing to do with what we're gonna talk about.
But apart from us complaining, or me complaining, because
Yeah.
I actually feel really bad. I actually felt really bad the whole time that I was like trying to get this work. We've got news about the 3080.
Yes.
We've got bad news about the 3080.
Also, yes.
We've got bad news about the PlayStation.
So many bad news. Be ready for bad news. This is gonna be very, very bad news.
This is gonna be bad news central today.
Oh man,
And-
the stream even started bad.
Yeah, and I think I'm afraid to even click to roll the intro, but I'm gonna do it because tell us how you really feel about Microsoft. I will absolutely tell you all how I feel about it. So
The
let's
truth is
roll
out
the
there.
intro, and we'll get straight into it. You know, some would say you shouldn't play the intro if you're late, but I say no. I have no excuse for
Let's
it.
do it anyway.
Yeah. I'm gonna squeeze into here. Give us a close cuddle.
Yep.
How was your week, Casper?
Well, Patrick. It's been a shit show.
At the Fuck Factory?
Yeah, that's how I would summarize it. Oh my god, it's like we're like in this alternative reality where we have money and we can't use it.
You mean
As opposed
communism?
Is it?
Well,
I don't know.
did your parents ever tell you about...
going to a store and be like, can I buy something today? Sorry, we have nothing.
Yeah, we have no
Yeah.
stock. But
Yeah,
they have money, right? So during communism, people would have to buy, food and alcohol with little vouchers.
Oh, the tokens.
But
Yeah.
it's not because they were poor. It's just because there's no stock for everyone. So you had money and it was worthless because you couldn't buy anything with it.
Oh my god, we are in communism.
We are.
Corporations are turning us into a communist nation.
Yeah, like the fact that M-Wave had to do a raffle for the 3080
Yes.
is literally
It's
like
the
giving you
tokens.
vouchers.
Vouchers be like, hey guys, no stock.
I can't believe it. I'm going to ask chat. I'm sure people are going to... Yeah, I saw the question pop up. Did anybody manage to snag a 3080?
If you did, oh my god, you have the greatest luck.
Yeah, I thought I did because I put my order in 9:10, so when 9 p.m. when it went live on PLE's website.
Yeah.
At 9:10, my payment went through. I paid and everything, got a receipt, and I got an order message from them saying, hey, you all good, you got it. Next day, they're like, nope, you didn't get it.
So painful.
So in
So
10
painful.
minutes, the stock dried up at PLE. M-Wave also crashed. The website was terrible.
Yes, but you know what? The whole world crashed. Like I was watching
Yeah.
other channels on YouTube and they were like, oh my god, like every single website just went down, just crashed because like all the like bot programs and all of that, like they were all set up to like buy everything out.
That is one of the topics we're going to talk about. Scalpers, bots.
Oh, scalpers ahoy, man.
There is a 3080 Founders Edition going for $43,000 on eBay, but I'll tell you why that price is incorrect.
That's also the war on the other side.
The war on the other side.
Yeah. The anti-scalper movement.
Okay, let's start with that. Let's do 3080. There's a couple of things. Benchmarks, lies. We were kind of right a little while back when we said 30%.
Yeah, we were like, oh, 30, 40 maybe. Yeah.
Scalping, war on scalpers, Nvidia creating this whole situation, AIBs only having 2 months and so on. We'll talk about that. Let's start with that.
Yeah.
Tell me about the bots.
The bots buying stuff? Or the bots...
No, buying stuff.
The buying stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so... because they had time in advance, they were able to set up basically all these systems in play. But then, on the flip side, people were also setting up like their carts and everything, like as well, just to be like, it's like a preemptive strike. Which is why everything just went down like on the day because of the amount of traffic.
So there was two things. First, you're reversing very smart people, clever people.
Yeah.
I'm not usually clever.
No,
so I was part of the non-clever people.
We were the dumb guys in the corner. Yeah, we'll buy one.
We'll log in. We'll buy one. Like this is like, why would we're in a recession. Why would you spend
thousands of dollars buying tech that you be okay without?
Yeah. so that's one part. You know, you'd log in, you'd buy one. Then people had the carts where they had pre-prepared everything. And I think it was like a bundle thing. Like if you build your whole computer, you get all the parts at once, and you don't have to go searching for them. So you just add and grab
So you put everything in there, and you're just ready and go boom.
And then somebody created a bot network. Actually, it's a company. They make bots to do things for people. And there was a customer, apparently. They did it for a customer who wanted to buy 48 cards from Nvidia's website. This is in America.
48?
And the bot did that. They managed to just buy it. And they put it on Twitter. And they were like posting like all the orders coming through of them buying all these cards.
Oh my
And then
God.
Nvidia's like, we're going to shut this shit down. So apparently they said they're going to invalidate all those orders.
Oh, thank God. Nvidia.
Yeah.
Do something right. Because you haven't... You know, are we still on that topic? Because I was just going to go on Nvidia's scarcity tactics.
Well, I was just going to say the other side, the war across...
oh, yes, the war of the good, fighting the scalpers.
People are people, or bots, I don't know, or evil people. These are evil people.
Yeah.
The scalpers. There's no laws against scalping technology at the moment, because there is laws against... I think tickets. I'm pretty sure there's laws
like
on that.
Reselling.
Yeah, reselling tickets.
Yeah.
And there's also obviously laws against like. Well, we had the problem when people buying up toilet paper and stuff. There's something against like health products being. Like I think Amazon's going to court for that because they price gouging. That's right.
Price gouging. Yeah.
So there's something against that, but now, cards and technology, people ignore that because old people in government. All the old white
the dinosaurs running the countries. Yeah.
They don't care. They still think video games make people violent.
They still think we churn butter.
Yeah. What makes people violent is Windows updates. Let's be frank with that. Because, you know, let's say 1939. There's Hitler before the invention of video games. Just chilling, not being violent at all, and then 1939, video games gets invented.
That's this helps our argument because there were no PlayStations. Things like that happened. You know, before the gaming generation, look how bad society was. If anything, the gaming generation has made us more sensible, more controlled, calmer. Maybe.
I'm calm. I'm very calm.
Yeah.
I didn't hit anything. I didn't drop anything.
But then maybe it's coming full circle. It's like now that we can't order anything, it's like World War IV is coming because people are like, can't buy anything.
People are upset, and Steve Burke from Gamers Nexus made a pretty good video. He did remind people that, guys, this is like, it's luxurious goods, it's fun stuff, but it's not something to get upset over. But there are people like, I think there was a few death threats. Obviously, not necessarily to a specific person,
Yeah,
but to Nvidia.
that's too extreme.
Yeah, there's a lot of extreme people doing extreme things.
Yeah.
And so, you know, you don't want to do that. At the end of the day, you're not going to miss out. You're going to be maybe a couple of months behind. But that's very separate to PlayStation 5, which we'll talk about, because I think missing out on that is a little bit different than missing out on a graphics card. Because you might already have one, and you might still be getting some of the benefit of having a graphics card. You still play games if you have like a 1080 and so on.
Yeah.
But the other bots, there were bots that were fighting against scalpers. So scalpers bought all these cards.
Yeah.
They put them up on eBay. I don't think there's any on eBay Australia, but I haven't checked recently. I haven't checked in the last 24 hours.
Yeah.
But they put them up for ridiculous prices. Now, I think the average was about $2,500 for a Founders Edition. And that's Nvidia's fault that Founders Edition is all of a sudden some sort of premium product, because it's not. It's actually the AIB builders have built better cards with overclocking and things. So we'll get to that in a moment. But, and I also will, Adam, thanks for the message. We're going to talk about stocks coming back because we've got some ideas on that. So these things went up and a bot was created to bid.
Auto bid everything. So it turned into ridiculous prices of like 60 or 70,000 US dollars to be like, haha, nobody's paying for this.
Yeah.
And then the sale finishes, and then you end up paying like a portion of the proceeds, like a percentage to eBay or whatever. And then it's like, yeah, nobody's buying it because they were using fake accounts. The accounts just dissipate anyway. So it's like, good luck. Every time you put it on, we're going to cancel you out, basically.
Angels. These men and women who created these bots are angels. Yeah. Look, that's not to say that stuff's going to not sell. It will sell. Let's be frank. It will sell later on through another eBay auction that didn't get hit by the bots.
You know, these guys are going to have to go to the streets to sell this stuff, because online they're getting compromised.
Bro, you want to buy
Yeah. There's going to be guys with trench coats with like 3080s. Hey, I got some. You want some cards, kids?
I can't believe that we're at this stage in 2020. 2020 is the strangest year I've lived through. So, well, I don't know if I've lived through it yet, but so far so good, right? We're surviving. But it's a strange year.
This is the strangest of years. I mean, we started the year fighting for toilet paper, and now we're fighting bots that are buying out graphics cards.
And of course, the pandemic or whatever. I mean, that's quite a severe effect on the world. But look how quickly the world has devolved into this apocalyptic madness of buying crap as soon as little pandemic hit. You'd think we're a bit stronger than that. But the 3080 is a weird product because Nvidia lied a little bit.
A little bit. I think that there were white lies.
Lies.
Performance, as we said before, like performance percentages and all that kind of stuff doesn't correlate or doesn't like reflect the frame differences between the cards. So they kind of weren't lying, but they were choosing to tell which truth suited them best.
Well, why don't you tell the stream about the 2080 Ti and the 2080?
Yeah, it was a 2080 Super. So there was a thing about the differences between the performance of the 2080 Super against the 3080, and it was on the Doom Eternal on 4K, and they basically did an analysis of it and showed that the fact that the 3080 had the additional VRAM, it was the reason why there was a big disparity between the frames per second achieved in that game on 4K only, because of how demanding that is in the allocation and the usage of the VRAM. So they said, well, if the 2080 Super had that amount of VRAM as well, the frames, like it would close the gap a little bit. Yeah, obviously the 3080 would still be more powerful, with the increased clocks and architecture and whatnot. But it just shows that, hey, that's kind of a sneaky thing to use as a benchmark against like a 2080 Super. Because then the 2080 Ti has more VRAM, if anything.
It was... I just saw a comment, very cherry-picked. It certainly was.
Very cherry-picked, yeah. But then, what I find interesting about the 3080s is, and we had this conversation, we had this debate about, the VRAM. Is it enough for 4K gaming? Is it future-proof? And, Not for 4K, I wouldn't say. I mean, not in all titles. I think there's still going to be a lot of titles that will benefit, will be fine for 4K for some time. But you know, you got something like Flight Simulator. That uses a ton.
Microsoft Flight Sim at the moment is the one game that not requires, but runs at more than 10 gigs of VRAM. And it causes a fairly weird bottleneck because while you were talking, I had a bit of a thought. Like, I would not be upset if the 2080 or the 2080 Ti didn't have 10 gigs of RAM. Like, in a sense that, you know, if we just went up by 2, and it's still not enough, but it's still the next version and we're getting 10. But even the 1080 Ti had 11 gigs of VRAM.
Yeah.
And that wasn't a 4K capable card. Like, sorry, it was 4K capable.
Yeah, but maybe like 30 FPS.
But you wouldn't call it 4K gaming. Now we've got a card that can do it, but it's weirdly hamstrung by its VRAM, which you'd think at this gen, that is one thing that just bump up. It seems such a small thing. Like, why isn't it at least matching the highest end card of the last generation? Why is the 3080 just not matched? Like, it used to match, you know, every time you get the next generation of the 3080, the next one up would be the better one of the top. Why do we get a lower spec of something like VRAM? To me, it seems like it's like hard drive space. Why do you sell a phone that has a little bit less space than the last year's model? You don't necessarily do it. You at least match it.
You know why? Because that's a key component that they can allocate accordingly to their products as they see fit. And doing so, having 10 gig cards allows them to produce more. I can see in chat there people are talking about the 20 gig RAM version. I agree 100%. We're most likely going to get that.
But it's not a super. It's not a super. They're dropping super. It's going to be a TI.
It's going to be a TI. Yeah,
they're dropping super. That was apparently too confusing for the market.
Yeah.
And so they're literally dropping that because they just screwed that up, screwed the pooch. So it'll be the TI, and I think there was a leak of all the AIB cards. I remember seeing the 20 gig one is, it might be confusing, but it's either going to be a 3080 Ti, or it will have 3080 20 gig version. It might actually just be a different SKU of the 2080.
Whoa. Okay, that would
because
be weird.
When I was looking at the AIB's card numbers, I should bring it up. Actually. We haven't prepared anything for that, but it had all the SKUs, all the numbers, but none of them had a TI or anything like that. So it's either TI or just the 3080 version. They're not going to call it super because it confused people.
Yeah.
But because the other models used to have a SPR, I think, on the end.
Wow. Yeah, that'll be. Instead, they're going to add like a duper as well. Be like the super duper. Thanks, Nvidia.
Yeah.
Okay,
you just keep going on that. I'll try to find the.
Right, so specs-wise, you know, we were promised about 60-70% performance difference.
Yeah.
That didn't necessarily reflect on the stats that we saw on the frames per second, 1440p, 1080p, 4K. Instead, what we got, and if you have a look at, is it Gamer Nexus?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think his review was probably one of the, his reviews generally are the most detailed, the most...
That's right.
Laid out reviews. And he basically goes on to say that it's about a 25-30% boost, which we generally expect.
Last generation, it was 30% at like double the price, but it was still 30%. Now it's a lower price, and it's still only 30% on average across everything. This is the one I found, so you can see here that it's got like a
I saw that as well.
A ROS, 10 gig and a 20 gig. But none of them have like a TI or anything in there or a super. It's just going to be a 10 gig version and a 20 gig version.
Gaming, Eagle, Turbo, those are the different...
That's just models, because every one of them comes in like different flavors.
Okay.
But I guess the idea here is that there won't be like a big, like, the price will go up, but performance-wise, at the price point, I don't know how far people think things are future-proof. Technology is very much not future-proof. And if you buy a 3080 and you're not planning on playing 4K games at, ridiculous, like if, let's say you want to play 4K and you want to play at 60 frames, and then you max out your VRAM. Yes, that could happen, but at the moment, the only game that can do that is Microsoft Flight Simulator.
Yes,
On the
it's
other
probably
hand,
the only game. Yeah.
On the other hand, my vision of what I think people will do is they will reduce some of the quality effects of the game to get higher frame rates, to get 100, 144 at 4K. Because there's a lot more monitors that have 4K 140 Hz, 100 Hz, 120 Hz than there is, 4K 60. Because the monitors have caught up, and so have the graphics cards. I actually think people will not even notice because they'll be like, I'm going to put this game on max. Oh, frame rate's too low. Let's just chuck some things down.
So, is that to say that 4K gaming really isn't here yet?
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying 4K gaming is finally here, but
it comes at a price.
It comes at a price, but I think frame rates is where it's at. I think we've reached. We've been playing 4K last generation. You were playing 4K at your 1080.
Yeah, I was.
But it was 30 frames.
Not at 60. Yeah.
No. So we can do 60 now, and I think people want more frames. I think people got to the point where 4K on a tiny monitor, 27-inch, 32, whatever it might be, 4K at the distance you are sitting next to it is. It's just too much.
Not that beneficial. Yeah.
It's not going to benefit you as much. And if you're going to drive let's say Apple's 5K monitor.
Yeah.
At this distance, you can't tell. That's why Apple has Retina. I know they call it's marketing bullshit, but in reality, if you stare at a certain distance, you will not see the pixels. So why would you drive more pixels than you can see? Like the monitor, yeah, sure, it can display 4K, but why would you drive, unless it's really big and you're far away, a close distance, but you don't need to drive that much.
I think they did a test with that, didn't they? They did 1080p, 1440p, and 4K, and it's tell us which one looks the best.
Yeah.
And weren't they able to actually distinguish it during that? I think when the monitors are 27 plus inches or something like that, I think you might be able to tell.
Oh, you'd have to stare quite closely.
Yeah,
I've sat down in front of your monitor and go, yeah, that's quite sharp. But then I'm looking at this monitor from this distance. This is a 13-inch, and it's 1080p.
This is 1080p?
This is 1080p.
Oh, no wonder it's so chunky.
If you look in real close, it's I can see the curvatures aren't as sharp, but I'm not sitting up here with it, and I don't want to sound
it looks very sharp. Actually, yeah.
And so I guess if I had if you buy an 85-inch TV and it's 1080p.
Oh my God! Get out of here! That's gonna be so chunky.
That's ridiculous. But even now, would you say that at this size, how sharp it is to you at 4K at 65-inch? Is that sharp?
At 4K, yeah, it looks super nice, super nice. Have I watched content that's I have watched 1080p content on this and be I can see the difference. It's it gets murky-ish.
Yeah.
It's at that size, 65 inches, you start to see that difference between 1080 and 4K.
Yeah.
It's still okay, it's still nice, but it loses that edge. It doesn't have that sharpness to it. It now has this kind of blurry fade to it.
And that's why, they said the 3090 will be an 8K gaming thing, and that's also bullcrap.
That's bullcrap.
They were using, what were they using?
They were using upscaling from 1440p.
So they're technically the card was only doing 1440p with upscaling. So again, it's kind of well, you wouldn't have an 8K monitor because there's diminishing returns.
They don't exist.
They don't exist.
Only for more working monitors or whatever.
I think they're much higher than that for professionals.
More than 8K.
Yeah, I think 16 or 24 or something like that.
Really?
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's bits. Maybe I'm thinking about bits.
But you got 8K TVs. You got 8K TVs.
Yes, there's 8K TVs coming now.
And can 2.1 do 8K at 120? Or is it 8K at 60?
Adventure Time. I don't think it can do. So was it HDMI 2.1?
Yeah, 2.1. The limitations.
Here's the official HDMI.org.
So I think it can do 8K at 120, right?
Resolution up to 10K supported. 8K 60, yeah.
8K 60. Oh, okay, or 4K 120. All right, so it can't do 8K 120. Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so even then, native 8K is a long way away.
I don't think we're going to get to a point where we have native, even...
Yeah, maybe we won't.
I don't think we will.
But
None of the consoles are doing full 4K. They're all doing checkerboard or whatever tricks to get 4K.
Yeah.
Like it's not raw. Like it's not raw 4K. You know,
True.
some of our high-end computers that our friends have had can't even play 4K back on their computers because that's pure raw 4K content. And like, you know, thinking, what is it, 50 gig file we had for that movie?
Or a Blade Runner.
Blade Runner.
2040,
Yeah, it was 50 something
49.
gigs.
Yeah, it was massive.
Massive, 50
massive,
gigs.
yeah.
It wasn't playing back well. It was very glitchy.
Yeah, it was struggling.
It was
Is it because
struggling.
of the streaming of that?
No, because we had it plugged in via HDMI.
Oh, we did. Yeah, it
Into
was
a 4K,
struggling really
it was-
hard.
yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I remember that.
So true, like the true 8K is, that's not going to be around for a while. 4K is, I think, the ceiling. Like I think 200 hertz is probably the ceiling for gaming too. Like it's.
Yes, it is. Yeah. Like you can't see the difference between like 200 and like 360 frames.
Yeah.
Like you just can't. Like even Linus was doing those videos and he's like, it gets to a point. Yeah, the diminishing returns. It's so small
That's
because
right.
it's like it goes from something like 8 milliseconds to like 6 milliseconds or something like that, and
Yeah.
you can't see the difference between like 2 or 3 milliseconds.
And what we're not saying that you can't see the difference in 30 or 60. You can.
You
it's
can,
a
yeah,
it's an
definitely
exponential
can.
curve where the return on investment just goes tanks.
Yeah.
And the peak is here, and that's where peak performance is. And
Yes.
you know, if let's say, I guess you give a pro gaming player or pro esports player, whatever you want to call those guys or gals, and you give them like a 360 hertz monitor and a 240, the difference could be 1 kill potentially, depending if you've got the same exact person there. There's really no way to test it.
Yeah, you have to have a clone.
You'd have to have
Just
a clone.
the same person playing different games, like
And
against
they
the
d-
same opponents.
They did that with Shroud, with Linus, and his results were exactly the same. I think after like 200 hertz. That's
Yeah.
why I said 200 hertz because that just seems like the result. And I just saw Patrick here put in. I just bought a 1440p, 144 hertz ultra wide, and I'm looking to grab the 3080 to push it least close. I actually have the 1080
That's a
Ti,
good idea.
and I'm trying to push my ultra wide at 1440p to 100, and I struggle with some
You
games.
struggle, yeah. So the 3080, I think, will do quite nicely on that.
Yeah.
That'll definitely push it.
If you are not playing, and this is a suggestion for you to, if you're looking to purchase the 3080, if you are not playing, if you are not playing 4K gaming, and you want higher refresh rates at 1440p with maybe an ultra wide or super ultra wide,
Yeah.
then the 3080 is your card.
Yes.
If you have a 1440p monitor and you have a high refresh rate monitor and you don't really care how far you hit that sort of refresh rate, or you have a 4K and you don't mind playing at 4K 30 or 60, then the 3070 will be absolutely fine at that price of what, $800?
Yeah, $800.
It's
Probably 900 with the AIBs, with the spec'd up cards, because we're not getting founders. Let's be honest.
No.
Yeah.
No founders. And,
No founders.
and the main difference between founders and there's two couple of differences, but the founders
Right.
and the AIBs, the main difference is that founders is actually like the stock, right? So it's not overclocked, it's not anything, but it
Yeah.
has one of the best coolers in the business. That
It
cooler
does.
is actually very expensive to produce, and in fact, here's something fun. For the next 2 months, Nvidia is giving back a $50 rebate to every single AIB
Oh,
for selling their cards
that's cool.
because they want to make sure the prices match their card, but their card's cooling thing, whatever the cooler, is so
cooler.
expensive. They're actually taking a hit on it. That's why people seem to want to buy the Founders Editions, because it's actually unique and it's actually costly and it's below, like the margin's lower on it. So technically speaking, it might even be worth more later on. And
I just noticed, like, watching it, the logo's like been on my face, on my chin.
oh no, that's not the logo.
Isn't
That's
it?
that's like
Oh no, that's the subscribe thing.
yeah, that's the subscribe button.
Oh, nice.
It's not on the
Subscribe to
stream.
my face. Yeah.
So I think So anyway, that's that. So now
Hmm.
let's talk about. So we've talked about benchmarks.
Right. Talked about the whatchamacallit, the pre-order apocalypse.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of which, so I've heard that so the suppliers, all AIBs, are actually giving new stock every few days. So keep an eye out on that. The hell was that?
I think it's your window, man.
Oh, bro, somebody's hammering my window. It's the wind. Yeah, it's probably the Nvidia guys. They're like trying to assassinate us for speaking the truth. Yeah, so you're gonna get a lot more cards are gonna be flowing through. Hopefully here in Australia as well. I know there's gonna be a lot more shipments coming in. So in the next few months, don't feel like you need to really run out there and buy the cards now. And especially seeing as the 20 gig version is coming out of the 3080, and also AMD is gonna be absorbing a lot of those purchases as well with their release of the cards. Don't know if they're going to beat the 3080. If they do, I'm going to be astonished. But they will beat it in the RAM.
Yes. So there's a couple of predictions. So if you've noticed, AMD's been really quiet, and that usually means they've got something really good and don't need to market.
They got wildcards.
They believe in their product, and if they are believing in it to the point where they're not doing any marketing for it, means that if they drop it, people will be like, oh.
Yeah, it's going to be good. Lisa Su, man, she's been on like a killing spree.
I hope they, I guess in my imagination, Zen 1 was the best first step they could do. Zen 2 was absolutely fantastic, and that little refresh mid-generational, end of the generation, it's just fantastic to see. Like, you literally saw a phoenix rise from the ashes. But the video card business, Radeon, hasn't had that love for a while. And the last generation where they tried to do HBM2, too expensive, made the cards too expensive and low.
The Radeon 7, is it?
Yeah, the RX9 Fury.
Right. Yeah,
sort of
that's
business.
right.
Unfortunately, it hasn't had that same love of saying, hey, let's create something really good, something that people on a budget will buy. And they will buy. And they've tried to do with the 5700 XT, the 5600, it's good. It's been playing around the 2060 sort of results compared to Nvidia. But they haven't put that love, and I know Lisa Su's amazing what she's done with Ryzen, really, but I don't know if she's quite swapped over to Radeon and sort of started doing that. Maybe they're trying to do it. I don't know who's leading that pact.
I mean, like about a year ago or more, I mean, she's been talking about like big Navi, big Navi, big Navi. Like she obviously knows that that's where they want to go. Yeah. They have mastered the mid-tier market.
Yes.
With this 5700 XTs. But imagine if they release something that's in between the 3070 and the 3080, and it has 16 gigs of RAM, and it's cheap at like $600 I'm talking. Like a lot of people are going to flock to that product.
Absolutely.
To be like, oh, it's better than a 3070. Oh, it has more RAM than a 3080. Why not? And the fact that they're really going to focus on drivers this time. Like she's going to make head rolls if drivers are not working. Because I know they've had driver issues. Yeah.
That's not to say Nvidia hasn't had driver issues. We're not necessarily saying we're Nvidia fanboys. Nvidia has had a lot of issues, like the 970, the 3.5 gigs of RAM debacle and the scandal there. This whole thing with the 2000 series, that was terrible. That's Nvidia playing the game because they think they've won. And you know what? Partly because AMD is just not able to compete. At the end of the day, they haven't been able to. So I think when a Big Navi comes out and Big Navi 2 is going to be, I think first they're going to match what Nvidia is doing, except the 3090, the 3080, 20 gig. They're going to match, and the prices are going to be similar. I don't think they're going to be lower. I think they're going to be similar, and you get marginally better performance.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
That's my imagination, because and they're going to do the whole thing. Well, we've got more VRAM, and you can play full real 4K.
And it's more power efficient. That's one of the things that they're able to do with 7 nanometers that the 8 nanometer cannot.
And that's the other thing. Nvidia went to Samsung to do their 8 nanometers, and obviously we're not particularly experts, but TCMC, TMCS or whatever they're called, they're masters. They're leading the way, and that chip that they're using in this card is just inefficient in regards to power.
Yeah.
In the new Nvidia lineup. I was also going to say, somebody was saying about stocks, I'm going to say hello to a few people. We've only seen 5% of all the stocks that are available for the 3000 series. So what sold out is only 5% of the stock available.
Jesus!
So don't fret that you haven't got it yet.
There's going to be heaps of stock flooding.
It's going to flood. It's going to flood to the point where there'll be special deals like, build it in this computer, you get this card. There's going to be special deals left, right, and center. Don't stress.
October is probably going to be a good target for getting the 3080s if you really want one, because they want to get in ahead of AMD's reveal. To be like, to sell, because once AMD comes into play, their sales are going to take a huge hit. So they're going to flood the market with cards by October time.
Actually, Nafi posted in comments, he says he's aware that engineers from Ryzen team worked with the Radeon team on RDNA 2. Well, I hope so. They should do, because you know, the Ryzen team has done such a great job.
They're freaking awesome. Yeah.
I think I'm just so happy for AMD to be back
in the game. Finally competing, man.
It's good for everyone. It's good for AMD. It's good for jobs in America, and it's good for us consumers.
Yes, because we're sick of not being able to buy things. And now that we have this competition, that's going to make it easier to actually obtain these items at an affordable price.
Patrick just asked, do you reckon they will have when they put out the 20 gigabyte 3080, will they have Founders Editions of that too? I actually doubt they will.
Oh, yeah.
I think it'll be purely, I think it'll purely be AIBs.
Might be, yeah. But that's alright. AIBs have been showing... Actually, the AIBs have been cooler, quieter, more powerful.
Yes. Well, no, I wouldn't say cooler. Except the
tough one.
The tough one from Asus.
Yeah, from Asus. Right. When you look at the size of that tough one, it's probably 10% bigger than the Founders Edition. And that's probably the only reason why it's so cool. It has massive heat sinks.
Absolutely. Massive heat sinks. And and I guess some people will have a problem with this because it might not fit in your case, and that's gonna be a bit of an issue, I think. I wanted to add something else when we were talking before, and I completely forgot, but it was something to do with the suppliers. Oh, right. Yeah. They're putting it all on planes. It's all being freighted by planes because the demand is so high, they can take the hit on the freight.
They can, yeah, because they're like, we've exceeded our sales targets. Let's put them on a spaceship.
Yeah. And speaking of which, they're also freighting the PlayStation 5, so tell us.
Absolutely. Oh
tell
my
us
God,
about
guys,
that debacle.
Guys, if any of you pre-ordered it, well done, because they sold out in a few hours. And I'm not talking Australia. I'm talking worldwide. This was an absolute phenomenon as well with the 3080s. Now, if you want to pre-order one now, you're probably looking at getting one at 2021 maybe, or maybe in December, hopefully before the end of the year. So these stocks went out very quickly from JB Hi-Fi, from EB Games, the obvious places, and then the places that were remaining, which I think I actually got one maybe for release date, which is from Harvey Norman. And that was...
Harvey Norman was the last to sell out in Australia.
Because nobody thought about Harvey Norman. It's like, it's a shop for all people or something. It's like, no, they sell tech. They've always sold tech. It's like, why did you forget about that?
Yeah. They need to remarket themselves from the boomer sort of, shop that you go to a bit more... JB
High Five
is very hip. They hired his people.
Dude.
Very hip. Even the tickets are handwritten, and they do those little reviews and stuff like, this movie made me feel like da 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 da, and I'm da 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 da, and I make my hair pink because my daddy. Anyway.
JB Hi-Fi.
Yeah. Have you
I
seen
feel like heaps of people working there are very hipsterish.
They're very hip.
Yeah, they got the earrings and the buttons.
But they're really good. I've talked to them a few times, and they're not as I've been in Harvey Norman, and I've spoken to a few people. They're very knowledgeable, but they're not they tell you about the product, but they don't suggest and say, oh, you know what, but this might actually be better for your use case or your thing.
They've always been super friendly.
Yeah, JB's always been really friendly, because I think they're just like, what do you want, man? So I'm just on JB's page right now, and at the moment they said pre-orders are temporarily suspended. Due to overwhelming demand, we've had to hit pause on taking any more pre-orders. Don't worry, as soon as we have more visibility on stock availability, we will reopen pre-orders. So right now you can do a $50 deposit. You can't anymore. What? Did you do a 50?
Bro, you can't even do that.
No, so that's a shame.
That's a shame. So I really, really hope that I can get one.
Hardly Norman. Danny says hardly Norman.
Norman, yes.
A couple of comments. We've got Danny said, heard bad things about drivers for AMD graphics cards. Yes.
Correct.
I got sent 2 cards a couple of months ago, and I had to reinstall the drivers twice, even though they were okay, before I got it to perform correctly.
Was that the 5600 you were testing?
57 and 56, yeah.
Oh,
so
you had the 57?
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah, it was alright. It was good. I recommended it in a video I did about like a budget build. I thought it was really good for like a lower, very mid-market, lower mid-market.
Good, like a 1440p card, right?
Yes, it was perfect for
Yeah,
1440p card, and actually high-end 1080p, high frame rate
frames to
gaming.
1080. Yeah.
MMB9 says AMD will come at $30.50 USD, cheaper and will with good amount of bundled games.
Oh, that would be a surprise.
That would be a surprise, actually.
Yeah.
I think.
Oh, imagine if they had Cyberpunk. Oh my God, associated with their cards, because they're gonna be releasing alongside the PS5, which is around the time frame of the release of Cyberpunk.
It's.
That would be one hell of a partnership, man.
It's the card maker that pays the games to have the games on there.
All right.
So they usually pick a game that's not necessarily like triple A, and they might pick like something a bit lower.
But like Ubisoft's pretty AAA, and that comes
that game.
with the...
That Legion game is not going to sell well. I can
You
tell
don't
you
think
right
so?
now. The reason it's being bundled is because it's not going to sell well.
Oh no.
Look,
Maybe
if you
that's what Ubisoft's expecting, because they're
Yeah.
competing with a lot of
Yeah.
hardcore titles
Yeah.
this winter.
look
Summer.
back at bundled games. I think Tomb Raider was one of them.
Oh yeah, was it Shadow?
Yeah, it was the second
Yeah,
one.
Shadow.
That
No, the second one, right? Yeah.
Second or
No,
first?
Shadow's the third one.
Tomb Raider isn't like it doesn't have a big market, and then we can keep going back, and I think there was a bundle with. Yeah, I would have to. I don't even know how to check that.
Death Stranding was a bundle.
With PlayStation 5.
That was bundled with the 2080 Ti or something.
Yes,
Yeah.
but not on release, right? So it was already a
Yeah.
post-release game.
Yeah, because it came out on PC.
Yeah,
After
they're
it
not
was, yeah.
basically they're not like triple games. Actually, there was a laptop I got to review from Asus that the game they had was Dark. Do you remember I talked to you about it?
Dark.
It was like number 2 of like a game or
Dark Souls? No,
No.
that's old.
But it came bundled and the game hasn't been released and it actually got delayed indefinitely.
Oh, the daylight.
Daylight dying.
Dying something.
Yeah.
Dying Light.
Dying Light 2.
Dying
Yes.
Light 2. Yes, when I saw that, I was like, how? It's not even released
Yeah,
yet. Yeah.
But again, it's these odd. I think Cyberpunk's too big.
It's too big.
It's too big.
Too big.
Too big to be
they're
bundled.
gonna make so many sales. They'll sell like
Yeah.
100 million copies this week.
Adam says, will Intel genuinely be able to compete in the GPU market? Okay.
I don't know what to say.
Intel is building these really cheap cards,
Yeah.
and they're not performing very well. Actually, I think they're just getting to the like Nvidia's MX 200, 300 series, whatever it is.
Right. So they're like in their infancy, but they are on the trajectory, the slow one.
Yeah, they're gonna have to do some big leaps and bounds to
Yeah.
get to gaming, because people don't buy, your mums and dads don't buy graphics cards into their computers. They can run it on the APU. They just buy, well, do you know
I
what I
guess
mean?
times have changed. Moms and dads do that now.
Yeah, but they're not gonna, do they?
Yeah.
Then they
Like-
just buy a laptop?
Uh,
I
Well, they do that
can't
too.
remember the last time I walked into a JB or Harvey Norman's a little bit older. They still sell desktops, but you don't see desktops being sold at JB, and JB is the millennial example, but
they don't sell desktops at JB?
I'm pretty sure they don't.
Sure.
I've never
Oh,
walked
maybe
in.
just laptops. Wait, hold on. What we got there? We got MacBooks. We got MacBooks.
here we go, there's
We got
desktops.
Oh, there's desktops. Yeah.
Oh, okay, they
so
do.
chunky.
But I've never seen this in store.
I've seen it in some stores, not
Have you?
all stores.
Not
have
all
it.
stores.
Yeah.
Okay, it's rare. See, I wouldn't call that a desktop. That's the box stuff, the
It's like
Nux.
an office computer.
So they have 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh yeah, they
4.
have some gaming ones.
They have 4.
2080s in there.
Yeah, let's have a look at this
2080
$5,000 one.
Whoa, $6,000 almost.
Okay, so but see, it's also a small form factor. So this is
Aha.
like a very nice, I think that's pretty cool. Like you can
Yeah.
buy this computer and it's spec'd really nicely, whatever.
But 6,000.
Yeah, but it's really compact. I think that's pretty cool.
Well,
Wi-Fi 6, Windows 10 in there.
Terabyte. Is that SSD terabytes?
No, HDD.
Oh my god, that's garbage. Oh my god.
Yeah. What's this? You get an MSI gaming chair via redemption.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
That'll absorb some of that $6,000.
like $150 of it. Oh, but you get a keyboard.
Aha!
And a gaming mouse. And 32 gigs of DDR4 RAM. That's pretty good. Hey, it's one stick.
One stick?
Of 32. That's cool.
Dude, that's insane. Imagine getting 4 of those.
Yeah. What else? One years. One. You get one HDMI port. Okay.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't ever buy this thing. Pretty much.
I used to do these videos where I used to go onto these sites and go, I'm gonna now try and replicate the same thing on PLE or like MSY. It always ended up being about $500 cheaper.
Yeah, it's a big amount.
Yeah, it's just I mean, the thing you couldn't replicate is the case because that's quite unique. Like you could get a small one like that. But anyway, back to what I was saying. Desktops aren't really being sold anymore. They used to be, but they're not because people just pick up a laptop. It's cheaper. Then most of the time it's like gaming ones. It's like, man, like most gamers don't go to JBs and buy this unless you're really just like, I want a.
Most people go laptops, and the people that are specializing in gaming, they would never ever go to that store. So who does that leave? Like who are the consumers left that will be buying this stuff?
It'll probably be people who have a lot of money and want to get into the space and don't really want to do any work.
I think the wealthy, uneducated minority.
Don't say uneducated because I think it's not an education thing. I think
don't
it's...
You think so?
No, I don't think...
In that realm, I feel like there comes...
No, it's an effort. If wealthy people get to a point where they say, my time costs more than the time I could pay somebody to do that for me.
Yeah.
And so they don't just go, I'm going to spend time learning how to build a computer. They just go, I'll just buy one because it'll take me more time. It'll cost me more.
The reason I said uneducated is because you can go to PLE and have your PC built for you, and probably at a cheaper price than one of these stores.
That's not an education thing. It's
lack of knowledge.
Lack of knowledge. Well, no, but that's the thing. Yeah. If you're not in the know to go to PLE, you're not going to go to PLE. You're going to go to what you know, which is a general store like JB's or
maybe
it's
lack of street smarts.
I don't think it is.
It's lack of something.
If you've never been in the gaming culture, you won't know about specialty stores like that.
But you'd think about doing research, don't you? Am I the only one that does research?
No, but you're missing the point. If you have money, why would you do research when you can?
Research.
Yeah, why would you do that when you can go to a store and you go that says gaming. That's got all these numbers. You talk to a guy and you go, yep.
Maybe that's just me. Even if I had money, I'd be like, I need to find out where I can get the best bargain.
Most people who go bargain hunting want to make the most of their money. People who buy on the fact that they want to do something don't necessarily get the best items. That's why shitty cars like Kias and things sell. Like, ugly cars, you know why they sell? Because people just go, I need a car at that price range, that's it. I don't care. And I'm going to do research about maybe getting a little bit older car that has more parts that are available on the market because it's more of them, and therefore, maintenance would be cheaper. There's a lot of ways people just are not. Again, I don't want to say ignorant or educated because that's not true at all. Some of these people are very smart. They pay other people to do the thing.
So they choose where they put their intellect.
Yes, absolutely. That's why you can find people who will be able to tell you the gravity pull of a neutron star, but if you ask them to install Windows 10 on a PC, they'd be like, what?
Yeah, and you see them roll in on like a pink potato, be like, is that your car?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Bill Gates is a bad example. He's like the top of the tree of people who do good. But, he doesn't live a lavish lifestyle. He certainly
he has a giant
money.
mansion.
He has money to the point, well, that's the other thing. People buy giant mansions not because they have money, but because they need to get away from everyone else.
Yeah, I need space.
They need space. They need distance. They need security and whatnot. But anyway, I don't know if this is very much off topic. I don't know what your comments are.
What else we got left to talk about? The fact that PlayStation did some lying to people.
Let's hear it about because we're running out of time.
So, quickly, some lies.
All right, tell us your lies.
When we were watching the showcase, which, by the way, we need to work out our volumes.
Was I really?
It's like you were like the ghost whisperer, like whisper, like the whole stream, and I was like, wow. wow, like it was so loud.
I apologize.
Yeah.
I haven't even watched that. That was done at 4 a.m. and I haven't looked back. I'm just like, that was a time in my life I want to forget. I was so tired. But I thought I had fun. Did you enjoy that stream?
Oh yeah, I loved it. Actually, it was a great stream.
So was that where they lied?
They lied in. Okay, so they showed us some gameplay of Demon Souls, and you know when we were watching, we were like, "Whoa, that's smooth." Well, because that was 60 FPS.
Yeah.
That's why it looked smooth. But at the end of that trailer, it said, "Oh yeah, coming to PC." No, it wasn't. No, it's not. Like they had to fix that. Like they had to actually pull it out and fix the slide at the end because it's not coming to PC. It's PS5 only. And they also said, oh, you know, certain games, new exclusives are only on the PS5. But it turns out that Miles Morales is also a PS4 game. And it turns out that Horizon Zero Dawn Forbidden West is also a PS4 game. So there's all these games that are going to be supported all the way through to like the end of 2021 most likely.
What?
Yeah. So people were like, "What? You lied!" So big shock. People.
Why would they do that?
I don't know if it's like a hey, we'll just downgrade the graphics and put it on the PS4. Like maybe not to alienate the fan base. So in the initial stream that we saw, like the initial unveiling of the PlayStation, everything was like PS5, 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 but now it's like, oh yeah, also PS4. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Hammy says here. Hammy? No, Danny. Sorry. Demon Souls will come to PC 2 to 3 years. It probably will be like.
I think
they
it
will come to PC. I
Probably
think they just
will.
jumped the gun on it.
Yeah, they were
But-
like, is that a PC game? Like some guys, like, yeah, I think so.
Wow. Can you believe? I'm a bit confused. Why would they do that? They're expecting not to sell. That to me shows that they expect not to sell a lot of PlayStation 5s.
Do you think that was a shock factor then, that everything was, that like the pre-orders were sold out in like a few hours?
Pre-orders will always get sold out on the
Yeah.
first run. That's not everybody, like, the rush will be there, but I bet you there's going to be a lot of cancellations now of the pre-orders. Again, it's a scarcity thing. It's a scarcity thing
Yeah,
that
scarcity
make it out
tactic.
to seem.
Yeah, and I think the
bullcrap.
pre-orders that they let out there was like a limited supply to be like, we're just testing the waters. Okay, yep, the vibes are good. Let's put out
Yeah.
some more out there.
I think this sounds like they're not wanting they're wanting their games to be sold to more people, and they're not expecting
Yes.
people to buy the PlayStation 5.
Because they're also losing a lot on selling the PlayStation 5s. So I think they're controlling their losses by the amount of consoles that they sell. Because every console they sell, you gotta remember, they're losing money.
Yeah.
Every console they create.
And the games will make money. The games is where
Yeah.
so this is the thing. Consoles make money on games and accessories.
Yeah.
Gaming community of the PC world make money on selling parts. The games usually either get pirated or they're cheap on Steam. That's
Pretty
the real-
much it.
People
Yeah.
buy games on PC. Let's not. But there's a lot of different games that you play a lot longer. Like there's a lot of games that have been multiple generations and so on. And FOMO, yes.
Yeah, we're driven by FOMO. I
yeah.
find like there's this hive mentality of fear that's been going around. So all of us were like, we think this is gonna be scarce, so we all need to buy.
And I think Patrick here says something similar. I'm not sure if that's what you meant, but I mean, you don't want to throw away
Yes.
102 million units just because you have a new console.
Exactly.
They still have stocks of the PlayStation 4. If the PlayStation 5 comes out, they're not going to sell the PlayStation 4. But
Yeah.
the PlayStation 4 will fall in price, right? They
Yeah,
still want to
yeah.
make the money
It's gonna
back.
be super cheap.
But there needs to be a reason for people to buy it. There needs to be some still new games for people to buy it.
Yes.
And that place, like, I bought my PlayStation 4, the non-pro version, for $160 because I was not willing to
So
pay any more
cheap.
than that. Because
Wow.
it's old. It's old.
That's like $99 or
Yeah,
something
it's
like that.
insane,
It's
right?
crazy price.
So I think at the end of the day, they want to move everything. They don't want to just drop PlayStation and be like, oh well, we've got all this stock for PS4s. What are we going to do with them? Trash them? That's just e-waste.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting time. They did say though that there's gonna be more consoles at launch than there was with the PS4, and there was about 4 million that were sold
In Australia or worldwide?
on day one worldwide of the PS4.
Right.
So I think they might have like 5 million or something. at launch.
Or 4,000,001.
4,000,001 more consoles.
Like, I'd love to know how many 33,000 series there were in Australia. I heard the number to be 900. So probably a bit above 900.
Probably, yeah. But,
From
yeah.
one reseller.
Well, they did say there was more than the 20 series. And they did apologize. They were like, sorry about the stock. You know, this whole apology thing, I think like this is a ploy. I'm like, they knew, everybody knew, they knew that this was going to sell out. This is whole scarcity tactic. It's a FOMO thing so that they can control that supply demand.
We didn't talk about this. This is one of the things we're going to talk about. Nvidia sent out less supplies that they can. They can send more. They did this.
They did this
to spread out the time it takes for you to buy before AMD. If you've got 10,000 units, right, and you drop 10,000 units on day one, everybody will buy it, and everybody will be like, well, there's plenty of them, and then be like, oh, well, there's plenty of those. Maybe I'll wait and see what
there's a
AMD.
discount.
Yeah. No, I'll wait to see what AMD has.
Yeah.
But then if you drop 1,000 this week, everybody like, fuck, no, jump on it.
Yeah.
Then another 1,000 next, and be like, oh, missed out last, cool. And then another, and you'll be like, oh crap, like I have to try the next time.
These cards are hot because they're hard to get.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, they must be really good and popular. Like some people don't even check reviews. Some people do not research.
They don't check, yeah.
They just go, that seems like what everybody's buying. I'm going to buy it because majority usually is right. Not necessarily, but whatever. And so they've got 10,000. They're doing this in dribs and drabs. Expect to see another 1,000 units, probably like 2,000 units per week. That's what you'll see. And people will buy them out, they'll get sold out, there'll be people scalping up until the release of RDNA 2 when Nvidia goes, here's a 3080 with 20 gigs, here's a 3080 Ti, here's a 3090 at a discount. Boom. And then flood the market when AMD comes out and everybody be like, oh, AMD's releasing new, but look at Nvidia do it. This is marketing, not 101, it's probably 102.
Yeah, 102. Yeah, this is like next level top tier at marketing. So don't fall prey to FOMO. And don't fall prey to buyer's remorse, which is, it's going to happen. Like later this year, you're going to be like, crap, why did I jump onto this $1,400 graphics card? Well, I could have got this $1,000 one, which is actually better in XYZ aspects. Yeah.
I think on that note, on that bombshell, and Microsoft.
Yes, I know, right?
Windows update.
Your updates suck, Microsoft. They disable everything.
They disabled all
my
the
computer
USBs
as well. Like the USBs weren't working properly.
So I had to roll back Windows, and that's why it took 30 minutes to do so. In any case, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this week's stream, and I'm sorry we are late. Next week, we are going to start at
5 o'clock.
5 o'clock Western Standard Time, and 5, 6, 7, 7 Australian.
Gotta do that maths, bro. That's quick maths.
Quick math now. What's the song?
Yeah, it's I forget now.
Quick math or something. Math.
Yeah. There's Man Not Hot.
Oh yeah, Man Not. Yeah. And we'll see you there. Hopefully. Make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. I'm sure most people have, but in any case, I'll ask. Where can we find you?
Oh yes,
Captain.
You can find me
Casper?
at Game with Casper. Just recently released a video of the assessment of the PS5 showcase. I was actually quite pleased with what they announced, with how they rolled out all the games like they did before, which is really cool. Some surprise reveals there, so...
Keep talking, Casper, because I need to find the link.
You need to find the channel. So yeah, you can catch me there. I'm trying to release as many videos as I can, but like quality ones. I don't want to just put garbage on there. Garbaggio. So yes, gaming, everything gaming related on my channel.
So thank you very much for watching. I've put the link for Casper's channel in there if you guys want to check that out. A lot of gaming stuff. Thank you very much, Pog. Appreciate your kind words.
Yeah,
thanks, MMB. Thanks, Patrick. Patrick's just been dropping some real good nuggets of knowledge. Nathan, Danny, good to see you, mate. Hammy, good to see you. Nafi, good to see you. First time, I believe. Adam, DJ Ren. Waka. Adam, we got Adam, yeah. Sam. 140 by 500 is more pixels. Yes, it is, you're right. And yes, but just so displaying more frames isn't always working depending on your screen, because you might have like pixel delays, and you might have things like ghosting when you have to, like overdrive means your pixels miss. could get into it. But yeah, who else? I think that's it. Oh, Ritish said hello, but then message retracted. I don't know what you said, bro. Sorry.
Oh.
And that's it. Oh, Game with Casper was chatting there.
Oh, hi.
Thank you very much for watching. Catch you in another one. Bye. I gotta press end. Bye.